Welcome back, folks, to the WP-Tonic show. It's episode 595. We've got a great guest with us. We've got Tigran Nazaryan. I'm sure I have butchered his surname, but I've given it a good go. He's the founder and CEO of 10Web, a new player in the WordPress-only hosting space that has made a little bit of a splash. So, Tigran, can you give us a quick 10-second intro about you and 10Web?
Thanks, Jonathan, for the invitation. I'm co-founder and CEO at 10Web. What is 10Web? This is a platform for developers and agencies to build, host, optimize, and to maintain websites in an easy and automatic way.
That's great. And I've got my great co-host, Stephen. Would you like to quickly introduce yourself to the new listeners and viewers, Stephen?
Yeah, Stephen Souter from zipfish.io. We make WordPress fast by optimizing the code that runs on your site as well as the code that runs on the server.
That's great. And he does a great job. And before we go into the main part of the interview, I just want to mention our major sponsor. And that is Costos. Costos, if you're looking to get into podcasting for yourself or for a client, you need a platform to host your audio files on and also has an effective RSS feed. Costos provides that with a beautiful interface plus fantastic 24/7 support. I wasn't happy with my RS provider. I came across them. It was about half the price and a much better interface. I jumped ship. They were tremendous in helping me move almost over 500 audio files from my existing platform onto theirs. Their support was fantastic. And I've just been delighted with them. We had a few chats. Matt Madeus is their marketing manager, and he introduced me to the founder. We got on really well, and they decided to become my major sponsor, which I'm delighted. But like I say, if you're looking to get into podcasting, and you should be looking at it in 2021, you could do a tremendously worse than having look at their platform. So let's go on with the interview. So Tigran, can you give us a brief history of 10Web and how long has it been running, and why did you decide to get into the WordPress web hosting space, which is a pretty competitive area, is it not?
Yes, exactly. It's quite competitive, red ocean with big and small sharks there. But we wanted to enter that industry. Previously, we ran a company and we built a business around WordPress plugins. So we are not completely new in the industry. Since 2011, we were creating WordPress plugins and themes. So we have some vast experience in that. But during the time, we got a lot of insights about WordPress, about its community, about way of creating website with WordPress and its specific features. And we thought about what challenges there are for WordPress developers. So we thought about creating hosting, which is super fast, which should not be like shared hosting. Although shared hosting is cheap, but it's not so good. I thought about building great hosting company, and not only hosting, because hosting is just one part of the experience, but also thought about whole experience of building website from A to Z, and that it's quite technically not technical. I would say it's quite not automated yet, in our opinion. Because like building average WordPress website, it takes few weeks, even for developer and company. I don't mean the only coding part, but the whole process from 0 to 100%, and after that, like optimizing all that stuff and publishing, and keep putting the basis for its maintenance. So we thought about building a platform which can help not only developers, but also newcomers to WordPress community, to help them to do all this very fast and in effective way, by making use of automation.
Oh, that's fantastic. Over to you, Stephen.
I've been following 10Web for a while, and just there's some really interesting features that you guys have that other WordPress hosting companies don't, right? You're kind of talking about that a little bit, how it's not just speed. There's a whole A to Z sort of flow that developers go through, or builders, or whoever you are, when you're trying to create a WordPress site, whether it's for yourself or for a client. And it seems like 10Web has really like looked at and tried to address each one of those things, right? From like the very first, like right on the main menu of your page, just like the AI builder, right? And you can conceptually like grab an existing site and import it into a WordPress site, which is amazing, because I feel like there's so many people that are like, oh, I want my site that is built in whatever, maybe it's hard coded or whatever, and they want to make it a more of a CMS sort of system. One thing that I noticed that I think is really interesting is that you guys seem pretty closely tied with Elementor. That's something that I see, across your pages. How did you make that decision, and why Elementor over all the other page builders? I feel like a lot of hosting companies position themselves as like, oh, we do everything, like use whatever page builder you want, but you guys chose one and you stuck with it, which I think is amazing and awesome. But why? How'd you make that choice, and was it hard?
Yeah, that's an important question, because as you said, we created AI Builder solution. This is one of the main tools we created for website building. The second one is automated one-click migration to the platform. But for those who want to create website from scratch, or let's say for developers who want to create templates, and a lot of them in short period of time, this is perfect solution by making use of the AI. So what is it? It has two components. When I say AI Builder, I mean AI Assistant, which is separate service, getting already existing website or template on the input and converting it to Elementor and Builder plugin template on the output. So this is first part, AI Assistant. And the second part is the builder itself, which is, we chose Elementor as its free version, of course, and we added some premium features on top of it. So basically, we've created an add-on or extension on top of Elementor. So when saying builder, we mean our premium component plus Elementor free component. So why we chose Elementor? We could build the same solution for other builders as well, like for Beaver Builder, Oxygen, or Visual Composer, or even for Gutenberg. But we prefer the Elementor because it is already well established. It's super growing super fast. Already more than 5 million of active installs. So we think this is the most mature and the most the best tool among existing page builder solutions. Although we don't say that it's fundamentally much better than others. It's just more popular and is more more popular. So that was tough choice, of course, for us. But on the other hand, this solution, our solution makes use or is built for Elementor plus premium extensions, AI Builder, I mean. But for hosting, we don't limit our customers to any of page builder plugins. So it's free, and people can make use of any page builder plugin or virtually almost all plugins with our hosting without any significant limitations.
If the AI builder, or especially like the website builder with AI assistance, how how does that work? So you import your site and you go and crawl that, and then it actually imports into like an Elementor template sort of system, or is it like just static HTML that's now inside of WordPress?
Okay. So when Elementor and other page builders have their own import-export system. So in case of Elementor, it is plain JSON file for every page. So AI system basically takes existing website, recognizes its content in terms of widgets. So recognizes that this part is menu, this is call to action widget, here we have gallery, and here we have whole section containing all of them. So, and converts it to these widgets. So basically converts to template, which can be imported by Elementor and contains not only Elementor free widgets, but also some premium widgets we added on top of it.
Cool. And so if somebody would do that, then there would be like a second process that they probably would have to go through and like clean up some of that stuff, or is it like a exact one-to-one replica of their site that they use to import?
It depends on the original website. Of course, it's not perfect, and sometimes there is a need to make some significant changes, but sometimes just a little bit, like kind of few pixels here and there, and just change a couple of colors. But the whole point is that people don't want to have exactly like the original website. They didn't want to just import that and make as a basis to create their own templates. So it's okay to customize the final output to template after AI. But the important part is how much time do we spend for it?
Yeah.
If we spend as much time as we would spend when you're doing all this stuff from scratch, it's not a good solution. But in case of AI Builder, it works really well for landing pages, like typical landing pages containing even a lot of sections, long pages. It works a little worse with functional pages, like news pages containing a lot of like small elements, or e-commerce shops containing list of products, etc. Or it works not well in case of like very custom type of functional pages, such as, for example, forum page. It doesn't recreate forum; it just creates headers and blocks with text. But most use cases for landing pages, and this is the typical use case because people usually start building website from landing page or from home page, or agencies and freelancers, when they present their ideas to clients, they create several paid landing pages, not contact us pages. So that's the main use of the AI system.
Cool. That makes a lot of sense, because you're right. Like if you're importing and changing systems, you're probably going to want to make some edits anyways. And you're already, I don't know, hours down the road, just having somebody being able to import like image assets, basic colors, basic text stuff, instead of, copying and pasting back and forth. So even if it's not perfect, like you still save, 10, 20, 50, however many hours it would take you to go and download every single image and import it. That's cool. Back to you, Jonathan.
That's great. So you promoted the company on Appsumo. That a few eyes were kind of raised. I wouldn't say criticism, that would be too strong a word, but a few people have remarked, I think Adam Paisley of WP Crafter remarked that companies that, hosting companies that have promoted themselves on Appsumo, one of them has gone bust, and you decided to promote yourself on Appsumo. What made you decide to do that? And secondly, after doing it, what have you learned from the process?
Okay. To be honestly, I don't know what was the exact criticism point. There are a couple of things we think we could have done different way regarding the the latest Appsumo campaign, because we had a lifetime deal for AI Builder since October month, and with a certain price. And we didn't have plans for Appsumo back then. But later it turned out that it's better to launch an Appsumo campaign, and for some other reasons we needed to drop the price for Appsumo customers. So that's not so good for first customers who got a more expensive deal, and for most of them, for all those who applied, we basically actually partially refunded them or upgraded to better deals. So I apologize, because a large chunk of criticism was regarding that, I think. Yeah, but we didn't have any particular plan to offend them. It just turned out that way. Yeah, and it's a completely objective criticism. Yeah, but for example, now we later dropped separate pricing for or separate offer for AI Builder, and we just kept now, we have only one pricing now with hosting plus AI Builder together to make things simple. So and pricing is very simple, basically per website, starting from $12 per website per month, and if you have more websites, the price per website is somewhat cheaper.
Yeah, well, thanks for that. I think we go for our break, and when we come back, we'll be delving in Tigran's experience of starting up a web hosting company with my co-host Stephen. We'll be back in a few moments, folks. We're coming back. We're discussing the setting up of a web hosting company. Before we go into the second half, I want to talk about a webinar that I'm doing with Spencer Forum, and that's going to be on the second Friday of June. That's Friday the 11th of June at 10:30 a.m. And it's going to be part 3 of a series of 3 webinars that we have done. We did episode 2 last week, where we show you how to use modern WordPress plugins to build a experience the equivalent or much better than something like ClickFunnels, and the possibilities of using WordPress in modern marketing automation. In this third session, we're going to be delving even more, showing you the mechanics of doing this for clients or doing it for yourself. You can join us totally free. All you have to do is go to the WP-Tonic website. In the top navigation, there's a button that says webinar. You click it. You just have to give us your name and email, and we just send you a reminder like a day before the webinar, and a link where you can watch the webinar and also ask us questions. So that's fantastic. So remember, join us on the 11th of June, and I think you'll get a lot of value from it. So, like you said, you are based in Armenia. Obviously, Armenia's been in conflict with its next door neighbour. It got into the news a few months ago. So how has that affected you or your company at all? What's been going on in Armenia and with your neighbour?
To some extent, it affected the company, but generally, I would say that everything is okay and calm, and we work now as usual. But during that conflict time, a couple of guys from our team, they were drafted to army.
All right, yes. So we all have to face, when we're running our own business, Tigran, our own ups and downs, but actually having to deal with a war is a new one. So so apart from losing a couple of members of your staff, you've been able to adapt pretty well to the situation.
Yeah, we were able to work as normal as we can, but you can understand when there's such a complicated situation like war, people are sometimes emotionally very down, or you cannot work with the same efficiency. No. But having a professional team, it helps to do the best in that situation, and that's okay. We need to take into account the circumstances, and another circumstance is related with COVID. It was a trigger for us to move most of the operations to remote work. Now yes. I'm working from my place, and we have 70 people at the company, and usually we have around 10-15 people in the office. The rest are working from home. So we again face that challenge very well, and because all the critical processes in the company were established before the COVID, right. And everything worked smoothly. We just transferred to remote work.
Yeah. So what's the tech scene like in Armenia, and especially WordPress? What's it like in the country? Is it growing, the tech sector?
Yeah, tech is growing quite fast with around 20% annual growth. And but the WordPress community itself, it's small, and most of people in the community, they are creating websites, they are working for a global market. So we also, from the beginning, from just founding of the company, we thought about being global company. And having small domestic market, it motivates to start global right from the beginning. And that's really cool.
I know the Armenian community, there's a large community in North America. Did that help in any way in getting started? You know, I would imagine you got a satellite office in, I don't know if you do or not, but did the Armenian community in America helped at all, or hasn't it been a factor at all?
Yes, it helped. We have people there in the States, because our old team is based in Armenia, but the company, global companies, registered in the United States and Delaware. So we have people there in the States who help us with some operations, and that's help is really useful for us, because it requires a lot of work. If you want to start company in other country, you don't know laws, you need to have constant presence there. But this is one channel. The second channel is that there is a large interchange of experience with those guys who have experience in working in Silicon Valley companies. So it's going back and forth, and it's really good for us and our tech ecosystem to be up to date, and to have a constant flow of ideas and experience from Silicon Valley to our local community.
Yeah. So over to you, Stephen.
When you were first thinking about setting up 10Web, well, first, how long has 10Web been around for?
It's been around for 3 years, okay, or 3.5, since October or July 2017.
When you were first thinking about launching 10Web, did you have like the AI builder thought out and created, and this Elementor stuff, and all like your one-click migration, or did you just launch like, hey, let's just do hosting, and then you added those features on top?
We have some features back then, coming from our previous experience of building plugins. For example, we built backup plugin before that, or image optimization plugin, and we naturally turn them to services part of the whole platform. But the essential part, hosting, we started to work since 2017. We launched its beta in 2019, and AI it started little later. But yeah, we during these years we tried to see what should be the value of our product. Is it only hosting, or it's a lot of tools, or there are some services which are essential and others are less important? First, we thought all of them being equal, like hosting, optimization, backup, etc. But they are basically part of the hosting, more or hosting related services. The focus is hosting, key component is AI builder, and optimization.
When you launched 10Web, when you were trying to like figure out how to compete in the marketplace, was the idea to build a company that had this A to Z sort of helping the developer along the way, and that was really like what you were focused on, or did that come later as you were building more features into it?
No, we thought about A to Z from the beginning, but the way we implemented it changed. Because we thought from A to Z, it means paying equal attention to A, to B, to C, to D, but it's not that way. There is A, there is J, and Z. They are more important parts. We need to spend more time on them, to polish them, to perfect these components, and this is what is game changer component.
How do you figure out which ones to pay more attention to? Because you have limited resources. How do you decide what to prioritize and what to deprioritize? I feel like that's always a hard thing to do, at least for me.
That's the hardest part. We spent 3 years on that, because building one thing, it's challenging, but it's straightforward. You know, if you know what you want to build, you build. But the hard thing is to define what is the key component of your platform or your service in SaaS business, which defines you, which makes you different from the competitors, which adds some additional value that the market doesn't have. There are a lot of hosting companies in the market. There are some not so nice, not so good hosting providers, but they are quite good and very, I would say, top-level hosting companies. So what makes us different from them? We spent a lot of time thinking about that question, and we thought that the key point is automation. And automation of experience, automation of the whole site building process and all the components related to hosting, to creating website, to optimizing it. And so the key component is not the feature, but experience automation.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like at the end of the day, like when a customer's making a decision on who they want to go with and who do they trust, so much of it goes to like those untangible experience kind of things. Like, what does it feel like? What are the buttons that you click? How does it all work and integrate together versus like we do X, Y, Z. Like these are the features. But at the end of the day, that experience is so important. But it's easy to lose sight of it, especially if you have like 10 different things going on at one time and trying to get all those to work together. That's hard.
Yep. We need to wrap up the podcast part of the show. Hopefully, Tigran, are you okay staying on with us another 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, sure. So we're going to wrap up the podcast part of the show. So Tigran, what's the best way for people to find out more about you and your company?
How can people find more value?
About you and your company.
Okay, so visit our website, and we provide also trial. So it's better not to read about the platform, but just go and try. And if you have already WordPress website, there's a nice feature called one-click migration. Try that. It helps to see all the benefits of 10web platform compared to other hosting. And how it works, you just copy your website, create a copy of it on 10web hosting, and you compare page speed, whether this is better or previous one better, and it's up to you to decide. So better to try to test.
That's great. And Stephen, what's the best way for people to find out more about you and what your company's doing, Stephen?
Yeah, head over to zipfish.io, run a speed test, see how much faster we can make your website. Yeah,
they helped us on the WP-Tonic site to become a bit of a speed demon. Their help was much appreciated. So we're going to wrap up the podcast part of the show. Tigran's agreed to stay on. You can watch the bonus content on and the whole interview on the WP-Tonic YouTube channel. We'll be back next week with another fabulous guest, another great discussion. We'll see you soon, folks. Bye.